Welcome back, weary hearts and wandering minds. I'm Lou, and now begins your moment of calm and wonder. Step closer, and let's dive together into this magical experience. Before sleep finds you, let me take you somewhere where even silence has a soul. A lake so ancient it keeps its memories in the depths, and so calm it could lull the entire world to rest. There lives Lyria, a water nymph with quiet steps and a listening heart, the only one who notices that the lake has stopped singing. Something is missing. Something whispers from below. Something waits for her. And as Lyria follows the soft light hidden beneath the waters, you will follow the rhythm of her breath. Slowly, so slowly, until your own body settles like the surface of the lake at dusk. Tonight, you won't just hear a story. You will sink into it. You will drift through the memories of the water, and without even noticing, you will fall asleep with the lake that awakens. So close your eyes and come with me. Lyria is about to uncover the lost soul of her world, and as she does, you'll discover your own calm as well. You stand at the edge of the water, and the first thing you notice is the quiet. Not a peaceful, ordinary quiet, but a deep, listening silence, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Pause. The air is cool against your skin. A soft mist curls above the surface of the lake, drifting like pale threads of memory. Somewhere far behind you, the forest hums with life. But here, right where you are, everything feels suspended in time. You take a slow breath in, and the scent of damp earth and moss fills your lungs. It smells like rain that fell long ago and never quite left, like the pages of a very old book, opened for the first time in years. A place where stories sleep until someone is gentle enough to wake them. You listen. You expect to hear water lapping quietly at the shore, the small, soothing sounds a lake usually makes when it talks to the wind. But the lake does not talk. It lies there in perfect stillness, as if every ripple has forgotten how to move. You feel that stillness inside your chest, the kind that comes when you are too tired to think, but not yet calm enough to rest. The world has been loud for too long, and you've carried too much. Here, though, something invites you to put it all down. Pause. You kneel near the water's edge and look closer. The surface is so smooth it reflects the twilight sky like dark glass. Clouds drift above you, but in the lake they look frozen, held in place by some invisible spell. You reach a hand out, without touching, just hovering above the surface, and you feel a faint, cold tingling in your fingertips. You are not alone. You can't see her yet, but the lake knows you are here. And somewhere beneath that quiet skin of water, Lyria is watching you with patient, luminous eyes. You don't hear her footsteps, because she doesn't really walk. She glides, like a thought passing through a half-remembered dream. But you feel something. A soft presence moving at the edge of your awareness, like the gentle brush of water against your ankle when you wade in too deep. You straighten slowly, and your gaze travels along the shore. Tall reeds sway just barely, though there is no wind. Ancient stones ring the lake, worn smooth by time, as if generations have stood exactly where you stand now, searching for something they could not name. You feel that too. This sense of being part of something older than your own story. As if your steps were guided here by more than simple chance. As if destiny, in its quiet, patient way, nudged you toward this silent water because it has been waiting for you. You close your eyes for a moment. Pause. You listen not with your ears, but with your whole being. With your thoughts, with your skin, with the tired places inside your heart. You wait for the lake to say something, anything, and then you notice it. Not a sound, but an absence of sound. You realize that there should be frogs, insects, the whisper of tiny currents. There should be a song here, even a quiet one. But the lake is holding its voice somewhere far below. You open your eyes again, And that is when you first sense her, a shimmer at the corner of your vision, like moonlight sliding across glass. When you turn your head, it's gone, but the feeling lingers, gentle, curious, cautious. You step a little closer, your boots sink softly into the damp soil, and you feel the coolness of the ground reach up through the soles. The earth here is awake, even if the water is not. It welcomes you with a slow, steady pulse you can almost feel in your bones. You kneel again, and this time you dare to touch the lake. Pause. Your fingertips break the surface, and the cold is immediate, sharp for a heartbeat, then soft, like sinking into a cool bed of silk. No ripple spreads from your touch. The water accepts you quietly, as if it has been expecting this moment. You imagine what it would be like to live in water like this, to float without weight, to listen to the world from beneath its skin, to be made of currents and moonlight and forgotten songs. You don't know her name yet, but you can feel the shape of her life moving somewhere beneath your hand. Far below, Lyria feels you. She feels the warmth of your touch reach through the layers of cold, like a small lantern lowered into a deep cavern. She has watched many walk by this lake, but few ever really listen. You are different. You are tired, yes, but not numb. Something in you still reaches, still hopes, still believes that there are places in the world where magic waits quietly, hoping to be noticed. You withdraw your hand slowly, water clinging to your fingers like silver threads. Droplets fall back with the faintest of sounds, the first sound the lake has made since you arrived. It's small, but you notice it. You straighten and take a slow breath in, then out. Pause. The sky is deepening, shifting from blue to indigo. One by one, stars begin to appear, soft pinpricks of light in the vast tapestry above. Their reflections bloom in the lake like distant memories rising to the surface. You feel a strange, gentle comfort knowing that the lake keeps those stars twice, once in the sky and once in its depths, like a guardian of quiet light, like a heart that never stops remembering. You take a step along the shore, your footsteps soft on the moss and earth. With each step, it feels as though the night leans closer to you, wrapping you in cool, quiet arms. The kind of embrace that doesn't demand anything, only invites you to rest. As you walk, you notice small details. A cluster of pale flowers blooming at the base of a stone, their petals almost glowing in the half-light. Tiny ripples where no wind blows, as if something beneath the surface brushed against it and then hid again. You pause near a particularly old rock, half sunk into the ground. Its surface is carved with faint markings, symbols softened by time but not erased. You trace them lightly with your fingers, feeling grooves worn by hands that came long before you. You don't know their language, but your heart understands the intent. A promise, a watching, a quiet vow to protect. Lyria knows those marks. She's watched them for longer than you can imagine, watched moss grow over them and be brushed away by careful fingers, again and again. Guardians come and go. The lake remains. You feel as if the air itself is thick with unspoken prayers. Not loud, desperate ones, but soft wishes made by people standing where you stand now, hoping for healing, for clarity, for courage, for a place where their hearts could simply be. You breathe those old wishes in, pause, and something inside you relaxes, just a little, like a muscle you didn't realize had been clenched for years. You let your shoulders drop, you let your jaw soften, you let your thoughts slow, just a fraction. The lake may be silent, but you are starting to hear what that silence holds. Not emptiness, but fullness waiting to be understood. Not absence, but possibility. You turn your gaze back toward the center of the water. The mist has thinned slightly, and you can see darker shapes beneath the surface. Old stones, shifting currents, hints of something more. You feel drawn there, not in a dramatic pull, but in a gentle, steady way, like a thought you keep returning to when the day grows quiet. You don't yet know that far below, Lyria is hovering above an ancient, sleeping light. You don't yet know that the lake has been waiting, patient as time, for someone who would listen the way you do now. All you know, in this moment, is that this place feels strangely like standing on the threshold of a dream. One step behind you, the familiar world, loud and heavy. One step ahead, something softer, deeper, filled with mystery and hope. You stay there, at the edge, between both worlds. Pause. The night settles around you like a cloak, and the lake's silence wraps around your thoughts, slowing them, quieting them, preparing you for what lies beneath. You don't yet move toward the water. You simply stand and breathe, and for the first time in a long time, you allow yourself to do nothing but exist. Just you, the lake, the stars, and a presence beneath the surface, watching with calm, luminous eyes, waiting for the moment when you will be ready to follow the silence into its depths. You return to the edge of the lake the next evening, drawn not by thought, but by feeling, the kind that rises quietly, like the tide, until you have no choice but to follow. Pause. The air is different tonight, softer, heavier, carrying the scent of night-blooming flowers and something faintly sweet, like memory dissolving into mist. You walk slowly, careful not to disturb the hush around you, as if the whole world were listening for your footsteps. The moss beneath your boots is cool and spongy. It gives slightly with each step, absorbing sound the same way the lake absorbs light. Fireflies drift lazily between the reeds, their small, golden bodies flickering like wandering spirits who forgot where they were supposed to be. You follow their glow along the shore, your breath steady, your heart calm, and you begin to notice how the night welcomes you. Not with grand gestures, but with the simple ease of a place that remembers you, even when you do not remember it. Pause. You find the same stone you touched last night, its markings barely visible in the deepening dusk. You run your fingers along the grooves again, feeling the quiet weight of the past settle beneath your skin. And as you do, something shifts. A faint shimmer dances across the lake's surface, as if a distant star had fallen into the water and was now trying to rise again. You blink, unsure if the light is real or just a reflection of your own wandering mind, but then it flickers once more. Steady this time, deliberate, a call. You step closer, your breath catching softly in your throat. The water remains perfectly still, a sheet of dark glass holding the sky. But beneath it, far below, a pale glow pulses like a slow, forgotten heartbeat. You kneel, leaning over the edge, and the closer you get, the more obvious the light becomes. Not bright, not sharp, just a gentle radiance, anchored deep in the hidden belly of the lake. It stirs something inside you, curiosity, warmth, a strange familiarity you can't place. As if you've seen this glow in dreams you never remembered upon waking. As if it has been calling you long before your feet found this shore. Pause. You reach your hand toward the surface, but you stop just before touching again. Tonight, there is something different in the air. A hum, a presence, a feeling like standing at the doorway of a sacred place where the very stones carry memory and breath. You whisper into the quiet, "What are you?" But the lake does not answer. Not yet. Beneath the surface, deeper than your eyes can follow, Lyria lifts her face toward you. Her long hair drifts around her like strands of moonlit water, her eyes glowing faintly with the soft blue of aquatic dawn. She has felt your return, not with sight, but with the steady warmth of your presence reaching down through layers of cold. For a moment, she hesitates. Nymphs are woven from nature's quiet magic, and though she guards the lake with devotion, she has rarely reached toward the world above. The world of passing shadows, temporary footsteps, and voices that seldom listen. But you have listened. You have sensed the wound in the water, and for reasons she does not yet understand, Lyria trusts the rhythm of your breath. She moves closer to the light, that pale, trembling glow nestled within the ancient silt. It pulses faintly as she approaches, as if recognizing her shape, her essence, her longing. Lyria brushes her fingers over it, and the lake responds with a whisper too soft to reach the surface. A whisper that hums through currents and memories and echoes like a forgotten lullaby. To her, it feels like touching a heartbeat. A fragile, exhausted heartbeat that has been waiting for centuries. You lean farther over the water, blinking against the deepening darkness, and suddenly, the light brightens, just a little, barely more than a sigh. But it is enough to illuminate the faint outline of a figure moving far below. Your breath catches. For an instant, your mind races. A fish? A trick of light? A drifting shadow? But no. You know. Somehow, without understanding how, you know the lake is not alone. Pause. You sit back slowly, letting your legs fold beneath you. There is no fear in you, only a strange peace, as if something deep inside recognizes this moment from a place older than thought. The night grows colder. A thin veil of mist wraps around your shoulders, soft as a shawl, and the reeds sway gently in a breeze you never felt begin. Your heartbeat slows, matching the rhythm of the pulsing glow below. The air thickens with meaning, the kind you cannot name, only feel. A sense of being watched, not with suspicion, but with quiet curiosity. A sense of standing exactly where destiny meant you to be, on the very night it meant you to be here. You place your palm flat against the ground. It hums faintly beneath your touch, as if the earth itself is guiding you toward the next step of a story you didn't know you were part of. Somewhere deep within, an old door creaks open. The door of intuition, the door of remembrance. You exhale slowly. Pause. Your breath forms a small cloud in the cool night air, and as it drifts upward, the lake mirrors the movement, a faint ripple, finally breaking its silence. The sound is soft, barely more than a sigh, but in the vast stillness it feels monumental, like the first word spoken after years of quiet. You look back toward the water and see the glow pulsing again. Stronger now, brighter, calling. Something stirs in you. A pull toward the lake, gentle but undeniable, like the tide responding to the moon. You rise slowly to your feet, drawn forward by curiosity, by wonder, by a feeling you can't name. You step into the shallows. The water envelops your boots with a cold, velvety touch, and the sensation sends a shiver rushing up your spine that is not unpleasant. A shiver of awakening, of stepping into the threshold between worlds. The light brightens once more, and for the briefest heartbeat, you see her. A silhouette of grace and quiet magic, hair drifting like water made of moonlight, eyes watching you with gentle, ancient knowing. Then she is gone, the glow dimming, the depth swallowing her shape as if the lake itself were hiding her from you until you are ready to see more. You stumble back to the shore, your thoughts spinning gently, like leaves caught in a slow, thoughtful breeze. Not fear, never fear, but awe, soft and powerful, settling into your chest. You sit again on the moss, letting the night cradle you. The lake's silence is no longer empty. It is full, full of presence, full of promise, full of something awakening. The stars shimmer above you and echo in the lake below, as if sky and water are holding you between two mirrors of destiny. You close your eyes. Pause. You breathe. And in the darkness behind your eyelids, the glow appears again. A soft, pulsing light, beating like a heart, calling you deeper into the story. You don't know her name yet. You don't know the sorrow beneath the lake. But you know this. Something is waiting for you here. Something ancient, something luminous, something ready to be found. And as you open your eyes, the lake stirs one more time, just barely. A ripple across its silent surface. A whisper that feels like a greeting, like a beginning. The night leans closer. The world grows quieter. And the story slides deeper into your soul, carrying you gently toward the next chapter. You return to the lake at dawn this time, drawn by a feeling you can't shake. Something quiet and insistent, like a dream that follows you long after waking. Pause. The world is softer in the early light, Mist floats above the surface in long, delicate ribbons, weaving between the reeds like thin strands of forgotten magic. The air tastes cool, almost sweet, and the sky is painted in shades of lavender and rose, as if the morning were blushing at its own arrival. You walk slowly, your boots damp with dew. Every step sends a faint tremor through the moss, as if the ground itself were whispering your presence to the ancient water beside you. Birdsong rises somewhere beyond the trees, but here, at the lake's edge, stillness reigns. You kneel at the shore again, letting your fingers hover just above the water. The surface remains mirror smooth, but beneath it, you feel movement. Not ripples, not currents, but awareness. A presence watching, waiting, remembering. You breathe in deeply. Pause. The scent of lilies and wet stone fills your lungs, and when you exhale, the mist seems to drift closer, wrapping you in a quiet embrace. Then, without warning, the water stirs. A soft ripple expands outward from a single point, not from wind, not from your hand, but from something rising toward you. Slowly, gracefully, the shape becomes clearer. A large carpa, scales glinting like tarnished gold, breaks the surface with a slow, deliberate ascent. Her eyes, ancient and knowing, fix on you with an intelligence that stills your breath. She is old, impossibly old. Older than the reeds, older than the stones, older perhaps than the lake itself. Her presence radiates a quiet gravity, as though she carries centuries of memory in her shimmering skin. You remain perfectly still, not out of fear, but out of respect, the intuitive kind, the kind your ancestors once felt when faced with creatures touched by deeper magic. The carpa's mouth opens just slightly, and what comes next is not a sound, but a sensation. A vibration that seems to echo through the water, up the shore, and into your bones. A whisper, a warning, yet gentle, measured, ancient. When the light grows silent, the voice murmurs inside your mind. The lake forgets how to breathe. You blink, startled, not by the words, but by the way they feel, like an old truth sliding into a place where it has always belonged. You try to speak, but no sound comes out. Instead, your breath forms a pale cloud in the cool air, and the carpa watches it dissolve before she continues. There was once a guardian. She tended the water's memory. She kept the lake awake. But now, her light sleeps. The words thrum through you, vibrating in your ribs, settling behind your heart. A guardian, a sleeping light, a lake forgetting itself. You open your mouth again, managing only a quiet whisper. How do I wake it? The carpa's eyes soften, their depths shimmering with something like sorrow, or perhaps recognition. Not by force, her voice hums, and not by fear. The lake opens only to those who listen, truly listen. You swallow, feeling the meaning thread itself through your thoughts. Last night, the glow beneath the water pulsed like a heartbeat, weak, trembling, exhausted. The shape of a nymph flickered in its halo of light, and now this creature, this ancient watcher of the lake, speaks of a guardian lost. You want to ask more. Where is she? Why did she fall asleep? What silence is the lake drowning in? But the carpa dips her head slightly, as if she hears all your questions and knows she cannot answer them yet. Instead, she offers one final whisper. When the water calls, follow. For what is hidden is not gone. It remembers. And with that, she begins to sink. Slowly, her golden scales fade beneath the surface, leaving only a widening ripple that shivers across the lake before fading into stillness once more. You remain kneeling long after she disappears, your heart pounding softly, not in fear, but in awakening. Pause. The forest behind you wakes fully now. Birds wheel overhead, casting fleeting shadows across the lake. Sunlight pierces the mist in slender beams, turning the water into a pool of pale silver. You take a long breath, feeling the cool morning air fill your chest, and you understand. The silence of the lake is not emptiness. It is waiting, listening, holding its breath until someone brave enough dares to answer the call. And you feel that call deep inside, in places long overlooked, like forgotten rooms of the soul suddenly illuminated. You rise slowly, your gaze fixed on the spot where the light pulsed last night. A sense of purpose settles in your body, warm and steady, like a lantern being lit within your ribs. The guardian's light sleeps, but you do not anymore. You step back from the shore, letting the morning wrap around you. Your journey has only just begun, and already the lake has shown you that magic still breathes in the quiet places of the world. You walk toward the tree line, but halfway there, you pause, because behind you, the water ripples again. Just once, just enough, like a soft goodbye or a gentle summons. Your breath shivers with it, your heart answers it. And as you disappear into the forest's cool shadow, the lake holds your reflection for a moment longer before releasing it into the depths, like a promise kept for later. The forest swallows you gently, as if it has been expecting your steps. Its shadows are cool and long, draping themselves across the moss like soft blankets. Every tree seems older here, every leaf etched with memory. And the deeper you go, the more you feel the air thicken with quiet purpose. Pause. Birdsong faintens behind you until only the hush of distant branches remains. You walk slowly, not wanting to disturb the delicate stillness. Sunlight filters through the canopy in thin golden ribbons, dust motes drifting lazily through the beams like tiny worlds floating between waking and dream. Your boots brush against soft layers of fallen leaves. They smell of damp earth, of seasons that have cycled countless times, of stories that settled into the soil long before you stepped into this place. Each step seems to pull you deeper, not only into the forest, but into yourself. As you walk, something begins to shift. A sound, faint and fragile, barely more than a breath. At first, you think it is the wind, but the forest is too still. Then you wonder if it's water, but the lake is far behind you now. You stop. You listen. Pause. There, a low hum, vibrating at the edge of awareness, soft as a lullaby half remembered. It comes from beneath the ground, from roots older than history, from the hidden veins of the world. You kneel, placing your palm gently on the earth. The soil is cool, and beneath it you feel something pulse, slow, rhythmic, like a distant heartbeat. Not your own, not human, something deeper. A whisper rises through your fingertips, sliding up your arm and into your chest like a thin thread of music. Images flicker behind your eyes, not fully formed, not yet coherent, but shimmering with meaning. You see water, not the lake, but an older form of it. Wilder, younger, alive with movement. A river twisting through untouched lands, its currents singing with clarity the lake no longer remembers. And in that river, a figure swimming with effortless grace, her limbs moving like ribbons of light, her hair trailing behind her like flowing silver. Lyria, not as she is now, but as she once was, unburdened, joyful, one with the pulse of the world. You watch her laugh in the vision, though you cannot hear the sound. Her joy ripples through the water, spreading outward in shimmering waves that the earth absorbs with reverence. Then, a shadow crosses the river, not a creature, not a storm, a feeling, a hush, a sorrow, a silent absence. The vision fractures, the pulse beneath your hand falters. You gasp softly, your breath catching as the forest closes around you once more. For a moment, you simply kneel there, your hand on the soil, feeling your heartbeat try to match the rhythm you felt below. The echo lingers, then fades, leaving a soft ache in its place. You rise slowly, realizing the truth. This silence that blankets the lake is not new. It is old, ancient. Something has been sleeping for a very long time, and its dreams have grown heavy enough to pull the water's song down with them. You continue walking, your steps softer now, your breath aligned with the quiet rhythm of the forest. At the base of an enormous willow tree, you find a hollow framed by tangled roots. The opening glows faintly, lit not by sunlight, but by a pale bluish luminescence that reminds you of the light beneath the lake. Your pulse quickens. You crouch closer, peering into the hollow. Inside, water glistens on the roots, dripping slowly like tears. Each droplet holds a faint shimmer, as if reflecting stars no one else can see. You lean in, not too close, just enough to observe, and the shimmering droplets begin to vibrate. Tiny ripples form in the shallow pool beneath them, spreading outward in perfect concentric circles. The echo of ancient water. You listen carefully, and beneath the soft dripping, you hear something else. A distant voice carried through the roots. Not words, not a clear message, just a feeling. Loneliness, yearning. A call for someone who remembers how to listen. You sit back, resting against the willow's trunk. Its bark is rough beneath your palm, but it radiates a quiet warmth, as if the tree recognizes your presence and welcomes it. You let your eyes drift half closed. The forest breathes around you, each sound a note in an ancient melody. The air thickens, the roots vibrate softly. Another vision unravels before you, this time not of Lyria in motion, but of her resting. She sits beneath the lake, her knees drawn to her chest, her head bowed, her luminous hair drifting gently around her like a shroud of moonlit water. The light beside her, the pale, trembling glow, flickers weakly. She presses her hand against it, her expression tender, sorrowful, determined. You feel her emotion as if it were your own, a devotion to something fragile, a promise whispered to the depths, a longing for someone who can help her carry what she cannot bear alone. The vision fades, and you inhale sharply, your lungs aching with borrowed emotion. You understand now. The lake is not just quiet. It is grieving. It has lost its guardian. Or perhaps its guardian has lost herself. You rest your palm on the willow's trunk again. Pause. Its roots hum in response, vibrating with a message you can't quite decipher. But the meaning is clear. Go back. The lake needs you. Lyria needs you. You push yourself to your feet, your legs trembling not with fear, but with the weight of new understanding. The forest opens before you like a path revealed only to those who earn the right to walk it. As you make your way back toward the shore, the dawn has deepened into early morning. Light spills across the water in shimmering layers, but even under the warmth of the sun, the lake remains silent, waiting, listening, holding its breath for you. And as the willow's shadow stretches along the ground behind you, you realize something important. You didn't choose this lake. It chose you. You stand once more at the water's edge. The light below flickers faintly, a heartbeat calling you home. You return to the water's edge with the weight of the forest's message still humming through your bones. The lake lies before you like a great sleeping mirror, catching the early sun along its surface and scattering pale gold across the ripples that shouldn't exist. Not here, not on this lake that forgot how to breathe. Pause. You kneel again, as naturally as if you've done this 1,000 times before. Your fingertips hover above the surface, feeling the faint cold rising from the depths like a whispered invitation. The mist lifts slowly, curling upward in long, ghost-like tendrils, revealing more of the water's dark clarity and the secrets it holds beneath. You breathe deeply, not because you're tired, but because the lake invites you to match its rhythm. Slow, measured, balanced. Your inhale becomes the lake's inhale. Your exhale becomes its sigh. And then, just as your breath settles into this slow harmony, you feel it again. The light, faint, pale, trembling like a newborn flame shielded cupped between careful hands. It pulses once, a small, soft throb, then again, slightly stronger. You lean closer, your heartbeat syncing with the rhythm below. The pulse is not chaotic, it's deliberate, patient, as if waiting for you to return before daring to shine brighter. Something inside you stirs at the sight, A memory that isn't yours, a longing you can't name, a feeling of being summoned not by force, but by recognition. The light brightens, not dramatically, but like a quiet confession whispered into darkness. You whisper back, barely audible, "I'm here." The lake responds. A single ripple spreads across the surface, gentle, almost shy, like the lake finally breathing after a long silence. You watch it glide outward until it disappears against the stones. Your skin prickles, your breath deepens, your heart slows. Everything in you responds to that one subtle movement as though it were a sacred sign. You dip your hand into the water. The cold envelopes your fingers instantly, yet it's not the sharp cold of winter. It's the cold of memory, the kind that chills and comforts all at once, the kind that says, "You've touched this magic before, even if you don't remember when." The deeper your hand sinks, the more you feel it, a pull, gentle, persistent, like a thread looped around your wrist, guiding you downward. You close your eyes, and you listen. Pause. Not to sound, there is none, but to feeling. That is when you sense her. Lyria. Not in shape, not in shadow, but in presence. A soft awareness brushing against the edges of your mind, hesitant yet hopeful. She is close, closer than before, and she is watching you. Your breath hitches softly, not out of fear, but awe. A quiet awe that settles low in your chest, stretching like the unfurling of a long dormant wing. When you open your eyes, the light below brightens again, more certain this time, as if responding to your recognition. You whisper, "What do you want me to see?" The lake answers not with words, but with motion. Beneath the glassy surface, the light shifts, tilting, spinning slowly, like a lantern drifting through deep water. Its glow stretches upward in a narrow column, reaching toward you. The column quivers, shimmers, and then breaks into smaller strands of light that dance like ethereal threads. They stretch toward your submerged hand, touching your skin with a cold so delicate it feels like the whisper of a forgotten dream. Images surge into your mind. Not clear, not complete, just flashes. A shoreline bathed in moonlight. A young figure floating through the water like living starlight. Hands pressed against a glowing core. A crumbling lullaby sung to the depths. Silence descending like heavy snow. You gasp softly, your breath trembling as the images fade as quickly as they came. Your heart aches, not with pain, but with a strange compassion for a story you do not yet know. The light pulses again, this time faster, urgent, frightened, pleading. Your whisper is barely more than a breath. What happened to you? The water stirs, and the faint outline of a figure materializes deep below. Too far to see clearly, but close enough that you feel the presence ripple through the lake. Lyria. Her silhouette glides slowly, her movements gentle and sorrowful, as if she is tethered to the fading light, unable to stray far from it. She reaches toward the core of the glow, her hand hovering just above its trembling surface. And though you cannot see her face, you feel her longing, a longing so deep it stretches through the water and settles directly into your chest. The ache inside you deepens, mirroring her sorrow. You don't know why you feel so connected to her, but you do, as if some part of you recognizes her grief, her devotion, her loneliness, as if you've carried a similar silence somewhere in your own heart. The light suddenly weakens, its glow collapsing inward like a dying breath. Lyria jerks toward it, her hands closing protectively around the flickering glow. Even from a distance, you feel her desperation, a guardian trying to save a fragile remnant of something sacred. You whisper without meaning to, "Don't fade." The lake hears you. She hears you. The water shimmers, the surface trembling as if stirred by emotion rather than motion. Lyria lifts her face, not toward the light, but toward you. Your breath stops. You can't see her features, but her attention washes over you like a wave of cool understanding. In that moment, you feel a message that isn't formed in words, but in pure sensation. Help me. It resonates through your ribs, echoing in the hollow spaces inside you where longing and purpose quietly sleep. You swallow hard, your throat tight. Your hand trembles in the water, but you do not pull it away. I will, you whisper. I don't know how, but I will. The light steadies, just slightly, just enough, as if your promise has been woven into its fading glow. The water settles, the vision softens, and the column of light fades slowly back into the depths, leaving the lake still once more. You sit there, your heart pounding softly, your breath slow and unsteady. The morning sun warms your face, but inside you, a cold, fragile determination forms, sharp as a vow. The lake called you. Lyria reached for you. And now the silence is no longer something you simply hear. It is something you feel, a wound waiting to be healed. As the wind shifts and brushes against your cheek, you rise slowly to your feet. The world seems quieter, expectant, watching. You turn your gaze toward the forest path, knowing instinctively that answers lie deeper in the land as much as they lie beneath the water. You take the first step forward, light, steady, deliberate, and the lake behind you ripples once, as if acknowledging your choice. The journey has truly begun. You return to the lake at dusk, drawn again not by decision, but by the quiet pull of something deeper, like destiny, humming softly beneath your ribs. Pause. The sky is a tapestry of muted colors, lavender, blue-gray, hints of fading gold. It looks like a painting touched by gentle hands, brushstrokes softened by time and twilight. The air is cool, rich with the scent of damp stone and evening flowers. You feel the shift immediately, the night settling, the world dimming, the lake awakening. You step toward the shoreline, your boots brushing against reeds that whisper as you pass. Each blade bends like a listener leaning closer, curious about the weight of your footsteps. The water lies ahead, still, expectant, its surface reflecting the deepening sky with uncanny perfection. You kneel, letting your fingers glide just above the surface. This time, the water feels different. Not colder, but aware, as if it has been waiting specifically for your return. You inhale slowly, pause, and then you feel it, a vibration. Faint, subtle, rhythmic, not from above, not from around, but from below. The lake is speaking, not with sound, not with language, but with presence. A pulse rises through the water like a heartbeat, slow and heavy, shaped by sorrow and memory. It travels up through your fingertips, into your wrist, across your chest, until your own heartbeat begins to match it. One slow beat, then another, then another. You close your eyes. You let the rhythm claim you. Your breath becomes the lake's breath, and your thoughts soften, loosening their grip on the world. As you sink into this quiet synchrony, visions begin to bloom behind your eyelids. Not images, but impressions. A lullaby submerged in water. A hand reaching through darkness. A guardian's light flickering like a dying star. A sorrow that settled into the lake and has never been washed away. You whisper into the hush, barely audible. What happened to you? The lake shivers. A single ripple glides outward from where your hand meets the water, spreading in perfect rings. But it doesn't fade immediately. It lingers, illuminated by a faint, bluish glow, rising slowly from the depths. You lean closer, your breath held. The glow intensifies, stronger than before, less fragile, less afraid. It pulses again, and the ripple responds, as if echoing its rhythm. You feel the connection deepen, not mystical, but natural, like recognizing someone you've known in another lifetime. The light swells, sending soft rays of shimmering blue upward. They reach almost to the surface, illuminating the outline of the lake's ancient stones and the long shadows of reeds wavering in silence. And within that rising glow, you see her, Lyria. Not fully, not clearly, just the soft shape of her, moving with slow, exhausted grace through the drifting beams of light. Her presence wraps around you like the cool sigh of night air. She hovers near the glowing core, her fingers barely brushing it, as if afraid her touch will extinguish it rather than revive it. You feel her longing again, raw, tender, quiet as a half-spoken prayer. Then something inside the lake shifts. The water deepens in color, turning a shade of blue so dark it feels like night falling under your hands. The glow flickers, not weakly, but urgently, like a message being sent. And you feel it, not in your mind, not even in your heart, but somewhere deeper, in the soul you sometimes forget to listen to. A single, wordless truth. The lake remembers. You gasp softly, your breath trembling as the meaning settles into your bones. The lake remembers the guardian who fell silent. The lake remembers the light she left behind. The lake remembers how it once sang and how that song faded when sorrow wrapped itself around its depths. You whisper, "I remember something too, even if I don't understand it yet." The light pulses sharply, a spark of recognition. Beneath the surface, Lyria lifts her face. You can't see her features, but her attention strikes you with the clarity of a bell. The pulse of the lake strengthens, becoming steady, insistent. You feel the meaning rise through you. You are connected to this place, to me, to the silence we share. A shiver runs through your spine. You look up at the sky, the first stars flickering into existence, each one shimmering like a memory hung in the dark. Their reflections dance across the surface of the lake, mingling with the soft blue glow still rising from below. A hush falls over everything, not emptiness, not absence. A sacred pause, a moment held by destiny. And in that pause, you hear it, not with your ears, but with every part of you that knows how to listen. Find the truth beneath the silence. Do not be afraid of what sleeps in the dark. The lake is waiting for you to remember. You breathe out slowly, your breath trembling with awe. Your hand sinks a little deeper into the water, and the glow responds, curling upward in soft tendrils that wrap around your fingers like strands of warm moonlight. A connection is forming, delicate, irrevocable, alive. You whisper, "What do you need from me?" The answer rises through the depths like a forgotten dream resurfacing. See what I can no longer show, hear what I can no longer say, wake what I cannot wake alone. The glow fades slowly, settling back into the dark, like an exhausted star returning to slumber. The water stills, the night deepens, the silence returns. But now it is full, full of meaning, full of promise, full of paths stretching beneath the surface that only you can walk. You rise slowly to your feet, your breath steady, your heart changed. The lake no longer feels like a place. It feels like a message, a living message. And you, for reasons you do not yet understand, are the one meant to read it. The night wind brushes your cheek, cool and encouraging. You turn toward the forest, aware that the truth will not reveal itself easily, but certain now that you cannot ignore the call. As you step back into the shadows of the trees, the lake ripples once more, a gentle farewell, or a promise of what waits in the depths. Night settles around the lake like a velvet cloak, soft, heavy, and alive with secrets waiting to be heard. You move along the shore in silence, each footstep sinking into cool moss, each breath sinking with the faint pulse lingering beneath the water. Pause. The world feels thinner tonight, as if the veil between seen and unseen has worn down to a single shimmering layer. The lake glows faintly with starlight, its surface a deep mirror of the heavens, holding constellations as if cradling old memories. You stop at the stone you've come to recognize. The markings carved into its surface glimmer as though remembering a time when hands traced them with purpose. You rest your fingers on the grooves, and warmth rises from the stone, unexpected, gentle. The lake stirs. A soft ripple glides outward, a greeting and an invitation. You kneel, exhaling slowly. Your breath curls into the air, your reflection shifting on the dark surface, a silhouette framed by fading twilight. And then, as if responding to your stillness, The water deepens in color. A pale glow blooms far below. You lean forward. Your heartbeat slows. Your vision blurs slightly at the edges as the glow expands into a soft sphere of silver blue light, shimmering like a forgotten moon trapped beneath the surface. The sphere pulses once, twice, and on the third pulse, the water opens. Not physically, not with waves or foam, but with memory. A vision rises to meet you, so clear and immediate you forget how to breathe. You see her, the old guardian, Elowen. She glides through the water like a shadow of dawn, her long hair drifting behind her in streams of pale light. Every movement she makes sends ripples of magic through the lake, awakening small sparks that drift upward like underwater fireflies. She tends the water lovingly, whispering to the currents, pressing her palms to the stones that line the depths, restoring balance where it faltered. Her presence is peace. Her light is the heartbeat of the lake. You feel warmth expand in your chest as you witness a world long gone, a time when the lake sang, when its waters rippled with joy and its silence was alive, not wounded. But then, the vision darkens. A shadow crosses the lake, not evil, not violent, just heavy. A deep sorrow that sinks slowly, like a stone dropped into still water. Elowen's hands tremble around her own light. Her glow flickers, wavering as if caught in a cold wind. She looks upward, not at danger, but at destiny. And you finally understand. The lake was not wounded by malice. It was wounded by sacrifice. Elowen kneels beside the glowing core, pressing her forehead gently against it. Her expression is soft, resigned, loving. A lullaby escapes her lips, silent to your ears, but so heavy with meaning you feel it vibrate in your bones. She pours her magic into the core, her light diminishing with every breath. The glow strengthens, brightening, pulsing with new life, at the cost of hers. Her body grows transparent, her hands shimmer, her figure blurs at the edges like a star dissolving into morning. Then, a final pulse, a final breath, a final whisper of light, and she is gone. The core settles into the deep silt, still bright, but trembling, too heavy with the weight of a guardian's sacrifice to lift itself again. The lake falls into silence. A silence born not of emptiness, but of grief. The vision fractures, splitting into shimmering fragments that scatter across the water like falling stars. You gasp, air rushing into your lungs as the present snaps back around you. Your heartbeat thunders softly in your ears. Your palms rest on cold earth, your breathing shallow and uneven from the weight of what you've seen. Elowen didn't disappear. She didn't abandon her post. She gave herself to the lake, every last piece of her light, to protect it from something the world has forgotten. But her sacrifice came at a cost. The lake lost not just a guardian, but a voice, a song, a heart. And now, that light trembles alone in the depths, fading slowly, aching for someone who can carry the burden she left behind. You close your eyes, pause, and suddenly you feel her. Not Elowen, but Lyria. Her presence washes over you like a tide of cool water, gentle yet urgent. Her sorrow folds around your chest, like a constellation trying to cling to the sky. She has been tending the fading core for longer than you can imagine. She has whispered to it, protected it, held it, but she cannot restore it alone. She is not a guardian. Not yet. The silence around the lake thickens. Not heavy, but meaningful. A question hangs in the air between you and the water. A question shaped like destiny. Will you help her? Your throat tightens. You whisper, yes. The lake exhales. The glow pulses once, stronger than before. A ripple glides across the surface and touches your knees, your calves, your hands, as though the water itself is reaching out in gratitude. You lower your palm until you touch the cool surface. I will help you, you whisper. I will help her. Beneath the water, Lyria lifts her face. And though you still cannot see her clearly, you feel her smile like a warm shimmer passing through your soul. The silence that follows is not empty. It is trust. And as the stars reflect across the lake like scattered memories, you realize something new. The story you've stepped into is not about finding the guardian. It is about becoming one. The night has deepened. The sky hangs heavy with stars, clustered like ancient lanterns, guiding wanderers toward forgotten truths. The air is cooler now, thin in places, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to take the step it always knew you would take. Pause. You stand at the edge of the lake, your reflection shaped by moonlight and steady resolve. The silence that once felt haunting now feels like a doorway, a threshold inviting you inward. You kneel slowly, placing your hands against the damp earth, and for a moment, you simply breathe. The lake breathes back. A ripple drifts toward you, slow and deliberate, as though carried by invisible hands. When it reaches your boots, your pulse quickens, not in fear, but in recognition, as if you've arrived where your heart has been traveling long before your feet ever did. You lean forward, and the glow beneath the surface brightens, as if greeting you. You whisper, "Show me." The lake responds. Light unfurls upward like a ghostly blossom, its petals shimmering with hues of pale blue and silver. The glow stretches higher, curling around itself, forming a soft spiral that pierces the dark water and reaches towards you like an outstretched hand. The water is no longer still. It trembles, gently, hopefully, as though the lake itself has woken enough to remember what it feels like to move. You place your hand on the surface. It accepts you immediately. Cold envelopes your skin, but it is a living cold, the kind that carries memory and ancient purpose. The glow pulses. A hum rises from the depths, low and resonant, vibrating through the stones, the reeds, your bones. You close your eyes and follow. The world tilts, not physically, but perceptibly, as though time has folded just enough to allow you through. Your breath slows, your heartbeat softens. You feel the lake pull you inward with the tenderness of a mother guiding a child home. You inhale, pause, then exhale, and you begin to descend. Your body slips beneath the surface like entering a dream. The water is cold, but not biting. It welcomes you, cradles you, wraps itself around your limbs in long ribbons of liquid starlight. Light surrounds you, not bright, not blinding, just enough to soften the edges of everything, as if the lake refuses to let darkness frighten you. You open your eyes. The world below is a cathedral of water. Pillars of stone rise from the depths, draped in shimmering algae that sways with currents too gentle to feel. Silver fish drift like wandering thoughts. Ribbons of mist coil around your legs as if guiding your path. You breathe, not with lungs, but with presence. The water allows you to exist here as if you were born to it. You move deeper. With each slow stroke of your hands, the columns of light above you grow smaller, farther away, until they resemble stars seen from the bottom of an ancient well. And then you feel it, a warm pulse brushing against your chest. The light. It is close. The lake grows darker around you, but the glow ahead grows brighter, stronger, more defined. It flickers like a heartbeat trying to find its rhythm again. And there, hovering near it, is Lyria. Her figure is clearer now. Her hair moves in slow trails, catching the glow and scattering it like droplets of moonlit glass. Her arms cradle the trembling core, her fingers curved protectively around it. She looks fragile and eternal all at once. You instinctively reach toward her, but the water slows your movement, as if reminding you to approach with reverence. When she notices you, she lifts her face. Her eyes glow softly, tired, hopeful, carrying the weight of centuries. You do not hear her speak, but her presence floods your senses with a single, overwhelming emotion. You came. You nod, a small, weightless gesture in the water. The core trembles violently, its light warping as if trying to collapse inward. Lyria presses her palms against it, her expression tightening with effort. You feel the strain through the lake, through the water, through yourself. You drift closer. Your hands hover next to hers. The glow reaches for you. Weak, faltering, but yearning. You inhale. You exhale. You place your palms against the core, and something extraordinary happens. Light surges, not in a burst, but in a deep, resonant wave that pours through your arms, your chest, your spine, like warmth rediscovering a body long frozen. You feel the echo of Alarin's sacrifice, her love, her devotion, her final lullaby to the lake, all of it rising like a tide inside you. For a moment, you see her face reflected in the core, soft, tired, beautiful. She whispers, not in words but in meaning, carry what I can no longer carry. The weight presses into your palms, into your ribs, into your heartbeat. Lyria watches you carefully. Her expression is unreadable, a mixture of fear, hope, and awe. You whisper without sound, I'm here. The core stabilizes, just slightly, just enough. The lake hums in response, a deep, resonant tone that vibrates through every stone, every reed, every memory. Lyria's hand finds yours. For the first time, you feel her touch, a cool, gentle pressure that anchors you in place. You look at her, she looks at you, and the truth settles over you both. The core will not wake with her strength alone. It will not wake with your strength alone. It will wake with both of you, together, anchored by purpose and a bond you barely understand, but feel with absolute clarity. You tighten your fingers around hers. The light pulses softly in approval, and the silence of the lake, for the first time, feels like breath. The light between your palms trembles like a fragile heartbeat, soft and unsteady, as though afraid to trust its own return. You feel its warmth pulsing through your fingers, through the water, through the very center of your chest. Pause. Lyria's hand remains on yours, gentle but steady, a cool anchor in the drifting dark. Her presence hums through the water, not in words, but in the soft resonance of shared purpose. The lake responds. The water around you begins to glow, not brightly, but in soft waves, as if the lake were remembering how to breathe again. Shadows unwind from the pillars of stone. Currents stir that haven't moved in decades. Long trails of luminous moss lift from the silt, dancing slowly in the stirring magic. You tighten your grip on the trembling core, and Lyria mirrors the motion. The light pulses once, weak, twice, stronger, and on the third pulse, it expands. Warmth floods your hands, your arms, your ribs, your lungs. You gasp, water shimmering around your face as though illuminated from within. And then you hear it, not with ears, with soul. A voice, soft, gentle, woven from moonlight and memory. Child of breath, child of earth, why have you come so far into my dreaming? The light shivers. Lyria's fingers tighten around yours, a silent plea for courage. You inhale slowly, letting the glow fill your chest before answering. I came because you were fading. The voice trembles, not with fear, but with recognition. Ah, love. It has been a long time since anyone noticed. The glow brightens, expanding outward until your arms are bathed in silver blue warmth. Lyria closes her eyes, her hair floating in drifting halos around her face as the magic wraps around her like a shawl. You sense her emotions. Soft gratitude, deep sorrow, a quiet hope she hasn't dared to feel in so many years beneath these waters. The core pulses again, and the voice deepens. I am Elowin, the one who sang this lake awake. But my song grew heavy when the night asked more of me than I had left to give. Your chest tightens. Even without seeing her, you feel the shape of her sacrifice. An exhausted lantern offering the last of its light to protect what it loved. Lyria's eyes open slowly, and in them you see the ache she carries. Not just duty, loneliness. Centuries of tending a light that could not answer her back. She lifts one hand from the core, touching the glow with her fingertips, as though caressing the memory of a mother. The voice speaks again, soft enough to feel like a sigh. You have tended my fading heart, little one. Longer than I could have asked. Lyria bows her head, not in submission, in grief. Her shoulders tremble. Her breath ripples the water. You feel the depth of her sadness, not for herself, but for the lake, for the silence, for the memory of a guardian she never truly knew yet loved through every moment of sorrow. You reach for her hand instinctively. Your fingers intertwine, warm human skin with cool nymphic magic, and a connection flares between you. The core brightens. Eloin's presence gathers around you both like a luminous cocoon. You are not alone, child of water. And you, the voice turns to you, caressing your spirit like wind through ancient leaves. You are the bridge. The lake chose well. A soft shiver runs through your body. Not fear, acceptance. You understand now why you felt drawn to the silence, why the lake felt familiar in a way you could not explain. You weren't chosen to witness the story. You were chosen to complete it. The core pulses once more. A surge of light bursts outward, not violent, but warm, embracing, like dawn opening its eyes. Lyria gasps, her hand tightening around yours beneath the swell of glowing water. Eloin speaks, her voice softer than ever. A guardian's light was never meant to be carried by one. Not by me, not by her. It belongs to the bond between heart and water, between one who listens and one who remembers. The water vibrates with the truth. The lake does not want a guardian. The lake wants two. A harmony, like two notes that awaken a song. You and Lyria, together. You close your eyes, feeling the warmth spill into your chest. The core brightens, casting silver ripples that wash over your skin like blessings whispered in light. Your voice is calm when you answer, "What must we do?" The water swirls around your hands, carrying Eloin's final wisdom. Offer what was missing. Lyria looks at you, her luminous eyes wide, hopeful, uncertain. You lift one hand, touching her cheek gently. Her skin is cool, smooth as river stone touched by moonlight. She leans into the touch as though it is something she has longed for but never dared to believe she could receive. Your other hand rests on the core. Lyria mirrors you, one hand on the light, one hand on you, and the lake awakens. Light floods outward, a blooming wave of silver and blue that expands through the depths, washing over stones, currents, roots, memories. The hum turns into a soft, resonant chord, neither song nor silence, but something between. A heartbeat, a joining. You feel your warmth flow into the core, not draining you, but connecting you, offering companionship where once there was only isolation. Lyria's magic swirls around yours, twisting, blending, forming a luminous braid of human intention and nymphic grace. The core stabilizes. The trembling stops. A steady living glow spreads outward, stronger with each pulse. Eloin's voice returns, warm as a hand pressed to your back. Now, the lake breathes again. A wave of light surges upward, shaking the water above you. You gasp as the world becomes a flood of brilliance, a whirl of memories and magic rising from the deep. And in the center of that brilliance, Lyria looks at you. Her eyes shine. Her sorrow lifts. Her voice, though silent, fills you with a truth so tender, you feel your breath shatter into light. You are my missing piece. The lake shimmers, awakened, breathing, alive again. A guardian has returned, and another has been chosen. Light surrounds you like a living dream. It swells and folds, rising in spirals of silver, soft as moonlit mist, gentle as a lullaby carried by water. The glow pulses against your skin, warm now, no longer trembling, no longer fading, alive. Pause. You feel it in your chest, a steady resonance as if a second heartbeat has begun inside you. The lake's heartbeat, the guardian's heartbeat. A rhythm shared between you and Lyria, woven through the water, anchored to something older than memory. Lyria's hand remains in yours, her touch cool and grounding. She watches the expanding glow, her expression soft with wonder, her eyes reflecting the rebirth unfolding around you. The trembling core you helped stabilize floats between you, no longer shivering, no longer dim. It shines with the steady strength of something that has finally remembered what it was always meant to be. A guardian's heart. Elawan's voice drifts through the water, gentle as drifting petals, faded around the edges like a memory returning home. The lake breathes again. You feel it, the shift, the awakening. Currents stir beneath you, slow at first, like muscles stretching after a long sleep. Then stronger, soft ribbons of movement weaving through the depths, carrying warmth instead of cold. The silence, once suffocating, softens, deepens, becomes something sacred. A silence full of breath, full of life. Lyria closes her eyes, her hair drifting around her face like strands of glowing water. One tear escapes, not of sorrow, but release. Centuries of weight lift from her shoulders. You feel it in her fingers, and the tremble that leaves her body like an exhale she had held for lifetimes. When she opens her eyes again, they shine brighter than the core itself. She reaches toward you, hesitant, gentle, and touches your cheek. Her fingers are cool, but her touch warms you instantly. A message forms from her magic, soft as a humming thread between you. You heard what no one else heard. You swallow, your breath trembling. I just listened. Her expression softens, and something within the lake swirls. A quiet agreement. The light shifts again, drawing your gaze downward. The core begins to separate, not into fragments, but into two spirals of glowing essence, circling each other like twin currents pulled into harmony. You watch, breathless, as they drift apart, each one drawn to a different shape in the water. One moves toward Lyria, weaving around her arms, her hair, her chest, slipping inside her with a glow that feels like a vow. The other moves toward you, slowly, purposefully, as if asking permission. You inhale, your chest tightening with quiet awe. You do not retreat. You open yourself. The light touches your sternum. A warmth spreads through you, not overwhelming, not blinding, but steady, like a lantern gently kindling to life. You gasp softly as the glow roots itself in your heart, not replacing it, but joining it. The lake around you hums in approval. And then, the hum rises, becomes a chord, becomes a song, not of notes, but of movement. The entire lake moves, a sweeping, graceful current that circles you and Lyria like a ribbon of living memory. Stone pillars vibrate with ancient echoes. Silverfish shimmer in spirals of light. Algae sways in swirling patterns, painting the depths with curling strokes of emerald and blue. The lake is alive, awake, breathing. Lyria drifts closer, her forehead touching yours lightly, a gesture older than words, older than guardians, older than the lake itself. You feel her gratitude pour through you, soft as morning fog, warm as a hidden ember. She whispers without sound, a voice shaped from pure feeling. Not alone anymore. You close your eyes. Neither am I. Your hands find hers, fingers intertwining with an ease that feels written somewhere inside the lake long before you arrived. The currents wrap around you both, not pulling, not pushing, guiding, leading, lifting. You rise together through the glowing water, your bodies wrapped in ribbons of light that twist and braid around you like sacred seals. As you ascend, the lake sings, a low, resonant tone that vibrates through your bones and settles behind your heart, a blessing carved into your very being. When you break the surface, moonlight pours over you both like silver rain. The shore glows faintly, the reeds sway softly. The air feels new, You step onto the land, water dripping from your clothes, cool against your skin. Lyria rises beside you, the glow in her chest pulsing in harmony with yours. For the first time, you see her clearly. Her eyes shimmer like liquid starlight. Her skin glows with the softness of dawn. And her presence feels like standing beside a tide that has finally returned home. She takes your hand. You squeeze softly. The bond between you hums, alive, anchored, certain. The lake behind you ripples gently, a soft breath of gratitude rolling across its surface. A new guardian stands beside it, and another stands with her. You look at Lyria, and she smiles, small, quiet, full of a light that now belongs to both of you. A warmth unfurls in your chest, and a whisper forms at the edge of your thoughts. This is only the beginning. The stars shimmer overhead, reflected perfectly in the quiet water below. The world rests, the lake breathes, and your heart, for the first time in a long time, feels calm. Your journey has changed the lake, but the lake has changed you, too. And as the night folds gently around you, you feel that soft truth settle like dew. Sometimes to awaken what sleeps, we must allow ourselves to awaken too.